In the gracious name of our divine Shiva Shakti, our respects to the founder and spiritual head of the Saiva Sithantha Sungam, His Holiness Veera Brahma Sri Siva Subramanya Guru Swamigal, to the Naike family, friends and relatives, my humble greetings, Vanakkam and Namaskaram to all of you on this very auspicious afternoon. We have gathered here today to pay respects to a very loving soul, our late brother Sidney Naike, passed on approximately a year ago today. We are here to invoke God's blessings upon this beloved soul. We know the soul is on its soulward journey to the lotus feet of our Lord Shiva. Therefore, we are here in prayer to ask our divine to grant the soul moksham or liberation. I want to make a very special appeal to all of you. While the service is being conducted, if you could maintain silence as much as possible, you're paying respects to the family as well. If you know the divine hymns that are going to be sung, please join us in the singing. Right? We're not going to be too long. But I'd humbly ask all of you who are sitting in the side there, please come and have a seat at the tables. Okay? And also, if we could limit the movement as much as possible while the service is being conducted. Thank you very much. May you all rise for opening prayer, please. Come, Dad, come to the prayer. Tiruchitrambalam Agaramaniye Ananda Saivanamaniye Ugaramaniye Vishnu Vyapaka Nityamaniye Magaramaniye Mani Kamarara Amandamaniye Ragaramaniye Yagaram Ganadumota Randiye Kunaye Anve Invamiye Tunbum Turekum Kunaye Anve Yanandame Ponam Balavanava Sivame Anve Agune Maruni Kumarure Kamiye Anve Yanandame Veeralinganiye Tumaye Om Tiruchitrambalam. Pujya Konda Bharata Pugaliya Kon Kadal Koti Hari Misai Kalmidapa Alinda Pira Alipoti Vari Kirunavalu Vanchkon Thank you very much. You may be seated.
Sati Vinayagane Maya சிவலிங்க பாத என்
once again, my humble greetings and vanakkam to all of you on this auspicious afternoon. We have one tribute which will be paid, and I want to lovingly call upon our brother Brian Mudley to pay tribute. Brian?
Good afternoon, family and friends. We are gathered here today on this auspicious occasion to celebrate the life of our late brother, Sydney Naike. As we empathize with the family and as we reflect the integral part that Sydney has played in our life, we have come to realize the void that he has caused. We have met Sydney some 20 some odd years ago in association that was a football club in Phoenix. And in that association where we had a group of players that were having a dispute. And the reason I'm saying the story to you today is to show you the caliber of person that our late Sydney Naike was. He was a person that would walk into a room, read the situation, and he could tell you that everything can be resolved. And that's how we met him 20 some odd years ago, where he came into the association and we were having a dispute with some 20 youngsters. Sydney walked in and he walked out that same evening becoming one of our best friends. Friendship which cannot deny the love we had for each other. Yes, I know a lot of people here today is going to miss Sydney. The void he has caused in our lives. The integral part he played in all our lives. We're going to miss him to a extent that we cannot replace him. We will not forget the good deeds, the way he supported us, the way he formed friendship, the way he loved us through thick and thin, when we were going through problems, when we had special challenges. Sydney was there at any given time. Those lessons that Sydney has taught us as a person will live with us, with every one of us, for the rest of our lives. And I know some of us here today are sitting and reflecting the time that Sydney has spent in your guys' lives. And I know those memories cannot be replaced. But we can keep those memories and cherish it. And forever know that Sydney always was part of our life. And going back on Sydney, I know that he made a lot of sacrifices, and I'll be failing in my duty today if I didn't acknowledge the important people that he made those sacrifices to. And I want to say thank you to his wife, Manju, and the children, and the whole Naike family. I know at times life was difficult for you guys, because Sydney was always on the ground, looking after other people's children, taking care of youngsters, training them, caring for them, and sacrificing those time where you're supposed to be spending with you. But that's a caliber of Sydney, and that's a caliber of the person he was. He always put other people's thoughts first before he cared for himself. And I'll say thank you to Manju and the family for always supporting Sydney as well when he cared for other people. I think today it's worth mentioning that Sydney was part of Kensington United Football Club. He wasn't just the chairman of the club, but he was also a father figure for the club. And I know many will think he only had 2 children, but in actual fact, Sydney had over 50 children, because the club had over 50 youngsters that were part of the club. And let me tell you, Sydney ensured that every single child in that club were kept proper, were disciplined, were clothed in terms of football, where they had proper kits. They had even meals provided for them. And today, that hero, Sydney, is no longer with those children. So on behalf of Kensington United Football Club and the Phoenix Football Association, I would like to say to the Naike family and to Sydney, thank you. Thank you for all that you have done for us. Thank you for always being there for us. And I want to say to all of you here today who have come now to celebrate the life of Sydney, I want to say thank you, you guys as well, to sharing this auspicious occasion with the family. And on behalf of my family and for all of you out there, I want to say, continue supporting the Naike family, and also let the memories of all the good that Sydney has done to live with all you guys. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Brian, for those lovely words and for the encouragement to the family as well. I just want to take off from where Brian has left off. I also hailed from Duff's Road, and we had a soccer team there as well, which Sydney was part of, and it was called Ajax Football Club. And we ran quite a few sides, few teams there from under Ajax. And Sydney was the manager of the second team, affiliated to the Phoenix Football Association. And he managed the team excellently. He had a passion for the game, for football, and used to always rally around with the boys, bringing them to training, picking them up from their homes. He used to make house calls as well. Some of the guys in the early days never used to want to train, but Sydney used to pick them up from home, bring them to the grounds, train, take them back home, and like Brian said, always providing meals for these guys. And Sydney did that. And I was so pleasantly surprised when we met at the funeral and the ceremony to know that Sydney had evolved from Ajax Football Club to Caneside Football Club, and then becoming a chairperson. That meant that we did a good job in Duff's Road. We set him up for bigger things to happen. So we are proud. Manju, like Brian said, thank you for sharing Sydney with us for all those years. And we are proud of him. And he'll surely be missed. Okay, we'll continue with service now. Thank you. Beloved family members, that hymn concludes the first half of this afternoon's prayer. We want to now continue the second half of the prayer. I want to lovingly call the immediate family first to come and offer your Deeparadhane. And then thereafter, you can come in your family units and offer your prayer. And when you finish your prayer, please remain seated until the conclusion of this service. Thank you very much. நன்றி. Thank you. You may be seated.